What's going on, traders? A few things to talk about. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend, but it is time. It is time for us to lock back in. It's time for us to get ready to collect the bag. I ask that you guys give me grace because I'm a little congested. I'm a little under the weather. You may hear things on the mic that you might not like, or you may like because you're weird like that. But regardless, I'm gonna do my best, guys. So give me some grace here. All right. So Wednesday, first things first. Wednesday, very important day. We have core PPI month over month starting at 8:30 Eastern. Thursday is your gatekeeper to the final boss, which is Fed rate cuts. You have core CPI month over month and CPI year over year, and then you have unemployment claims all starting at 8:30 Eastern. This is going to help determine what type of rate cuts we're going to get, whether we're going to get 25 basis cuts or we're going to get 50 basis cuts. So it's going to be a very, very volatile day, or at least I imagine it's going to get very volatile between Wednesday and Thursday. So you're more than anything, you're going to want to lock in for these days. Screenshot, do what you got to do. It's also important to note that you have a few events heading into Wednesday and Thursday as well. You have the Apple iPhone event, usually a sell the news type of deal here. So I'm not expecting too much from Apple. This starts on Tuesday, September 9th. And then you have, some big tech giants such as Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, AMD. They're all meeting up, having a conference with Goldman Sachs and all that fun stuff. So those are things you want to pay attention to as well if you are into those individual names. Now let's look at the charts here. So in Q, so we're in a very critical spot here. If you've been with this channel for quite some time, you guys know I always talk about this trend line almost every week, right? On the weekly time frame. And so far we're trading against that trend line. We go to the daily time frame here. And as you guys can see, we're kind of, face planting against it, right? We're a little bit above the 21 EMA, which is a good sign, but what we want to see is a break and retest of this trend to help confirm further upside, right? Now, a few things we can argue here. There's a potential double bottom here. You have a bottom here, and then you have a bottom here. So what we want to see heading into tomorrow is a break, retest, and then possibly go higher towards that 24K target that we talked about. If NQ can get above 23,800, then I do believe 24,000 is on the table. And then from there, you're looking at potentially all-time highs. But until we break above this trend, it's very much possible that we reject from here and head further to the downside, possibly head as low as 22,800. It's not set in stone. It's not guaranteed. We need more confirmation. But for now, not looking too bad, but it's not looking great either. All right. So we look at the ES. 6,500 is your key level. We just cannot hold above 6,500. We keep trying, right? We attempted multiple times, but we just cannot get above 6,500 and actually hold. So what you want to see here when we go to the weekly time frame, once again, we're still trading above that weekly trend line. Until we get below the weekly trend line, it's very hard for me to be overly bearish. But what I will say is that you're starting to see reversal signs. All right, you're starting to see reversal patterns. We'll talk about that in a bit when we get to the SPY and triple Qs. But for now, you're forming a rising wedge here on the ES. So here and then here as well. So we can trade within here for however long, right? We can continue to consolidate until we get whatever news that comes this week, whether it's Wednesday's news, whether it's CPI news. We don't know, but we can continue to trade in here until whatever happens happens. Right now, I still believe that it's very much possible that we see at least at minimum 65.80 on the ES. But for now, it's very tough to say considering that we did form some type of reversal pattern on the ETFs, which we'll talk about in a bit. So when we look at the SPY here, right, you have this reversal hammer pattern. Now, I've seen a few people say this is a bullish pattern. Here's the thing, all right? In order for this to be a bullish pattern, it needs to form on a downtrend. It's not forming on a downtrend, it's forming on an uptrend. So we can argue that this is somewhat of a reversal pattern towards the downside. Now, I'm not saying we're going to crash and burn from here or anything like that. We can easily just form some type of, bullish candle here, maybe consolidate here, and whatever happens, happens, right? But if we do head back towards the downside and we see an aggressive move towards the downside, I imagine the SPY is going to simply retest the 21 EMA at around 641.5. And then whatever happens from there, we'll have to wait and see. Now, if you need proof of this pattern playing out, right here, you have somewhat of a similar pattern, right? It's forming off an uptrend and then you break down, okay? There's a few other examples as well. I probably should have marked them before I started this video, but you have somewhat of an example here as well. Some the same pattern, right? Somewhat of the same pattern. Next day was pretty bullish, but then you couldn't break above this pattern, which that's something we want to pay attention to, right? We want to pay attention to if we do see upside tomorrow, Tuesday, whatever the case may be. We want to see if we're going to actually break above 653, which is your previous high. If we can't break above that, then I do imagine the same scenario is going to happen here, where you reject back towards the downside. You see an aggressive pull back towards the downside, and then we'll see what happens from there. But there's a few other examples I imagine. This example right here, you ended up gapping towards the upside. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think we're going to just gap up towards the upside, especially this massive of a gap. But anything's possible. This market's been pretty great. Another example here as well. You gap towards the downside, and again, you formed this off an upwards trend. So something to pay attention to, something to keep in mind. It's not safe to assume that this is a bullish pattern, especially when it's not forming off a downtrend. It's also important to note that you have a double bottom here that ended up failing, in my opinion. So when we look at the neckline here, right, you have your neckline and you broke back below the neckline. So you were about to go absolutely ballistic if this played out. You had your bottom here. Your neckline was at around 648, no, 649, broke above it, and then you gave it all back. We went to the 4-hour time frame to get a better view on this, and then what happens? You formed an evening star pattern, a bearish engulfing pattern, and now you're just consolidating within this range. So it's very much possible that we continue to break down from here, possibly head back towards 641.5, and then we'll see what happens from there. For now, that's not a crazy move to the downside, in my opinion. That's not something to panic over. That's not something to go crazy over, right? What we want to see, in order for us to, I guess, panic, for lack of better wording, we want to see us break below these guys right here. So bulls are here, right? Clear as day at around 635, 634, right? Bulls are here. Bulls are here. And as you guys can see, we continue to reject or bounce off this trend line. You bounced here, and then you did your somewhat stop loss here, right? But otherwise, until we break below these guys, I don't see a reason to panic. Do I think it's very much possible we see a little bit of downside from here just based off what we're seeing? Evening star pattern, right? You have this reversal pattern on the daily time frame on the SPY. Yes, I do think it's very much possible, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world just yet until we get news Wednesday and Thursday, right? So one thing we do know, right? One thing we do know is historically the market is pretty bullish heading into events such as CPI and PPI. Now it doesn't mean that we're immediately going to see, green tomorrow or anything like that. But more than likely, I do imagine Tuesday is going to be a bullish day until get into those key catalysts. So that's something I will pay attention to. You do what you want. We look at the triple Qs. Pretty much the same thing. We're looking at the triple Qs here, and you see the same exact pattern that we saw in the SPY. And again, when you look back in time, the same pattern is here, right? It's a little bit. It looks a little bit different, but ultimately it's the same thing, right? You had this reversal pattern forming off an uptrend, and then you broke down. And so I imagine that we could potentially see the same thing. And again, you have this double bottom here, bottom here, bottom here. Your neckline was here at around what, 577. So yeah, ended up breaking down. You ended up invalidating the neckline, and now you're broke down, you retested, and it looks like you could potentially head down towards that 570 level if we stay below 577, which we ended up failing staying above. So I do imagine that it's very much possible that we see a little bit of downside. Nothing too crazy, right? We probably retest the 21 EMA and then head back towards the upside, continue to play games until we get whatever news on Wednesday. As you guys can see, we rejected here, we rejected here, we rejected here, we rejected here. So you guys see that I don't make these levels up. I don't pull them out the sky. The charts do their own thing. All right. I just follow the charts. All right. So that's what we're looking at when it comes to the triple Qs. Now, a stock that I talked to you guys about in the last video was Tesla. I told you guys that I do believe Tesla is going to pump back towards the upside. And crazy enough, Tesla pumped back towards the upside. I still have a target of 360 on Tesla. It's just a matter of how it gets there. And crazy enough, we ended up getting good news when it comes to Tesla and Elon Musk and all that fun stuff. But regardless, I think Tesla is going to see a little bit more upside at around 360. Highs I'm looking at is about 367 right here where these guys are. So pretty much 367. If we can get above 367, I do think Tesla is going to try to push towards 400. You have a gap all the way up here at around 400, right? And then I do believe there's another gap somewhere. That's like a fair value gap here at around 452. A little too early to talk about that target, but I do believe 367 at minimum is on the table when it comes to Tesla. So still bullish on Tesla. Obviously, you're probably going to see some dips along the way, but I think Tesla still wants to see that target of 363 between 360 367. If we do see some downside tomorrow, I think it's just going to be a simple gap fill at around 337. We bounce off 337 and then we continue to head towards the upside. And the reason why I think that's very much possible is, as you guys can see, we continue to make higher lows, right? Low here, higher low here, higher low here, higher low here. I mean, it goes all the way back to here as well. Low here, higher low here, higher low, higher low, higher low. You guys get the idea, okay? Higher low, higher low. All right. So I think we're going to continue to see that, right? And it's very much possible that if we do dip back towards the downside, I think it's just going to simply be another higher low we create, and then we do the same dance all over again. So that's what we're looking at for Tesla, all right, and then Apple. So Apple has this iPhone event coming up right on Tuesday, September 9th, I believe. And yeah, these are usually sell the news type of events. All right, that's usually the case. Now, I do believe Apple still has more upside. I'm looking at about 250. Highest I'm looking at is about 260. I don't know if there's a world that's Apple's going to head higher than that anytime soon, right? But I do believe 250 at minimum is possible for Apple, right? So when it comes to these events, Apple it's usually nothing, right? It's usually nothing. But we're talking about AI now. So it could be a different ball game, right? It could definitely be a different ball game. We could definitely see some more upside here. So what I would be expecting if we're going to see downside heading into tomorrow is that we just simply retest this gap fill at around 230, hit the 21 EMA, and then we just continue to dance all over again back towards the upside, right? Low here, higher low here. We just create another higher low here and we're back towards that 250, 260 target. All right. So Apple still looks great, still looks good. I don't have anything negative to say about Apple unless you consider this small dip that we're probably going to get to the downside towards 230 a bad thing. But for now, I think it's just a simple buy the dip opportunity if we do get some downside prior to Thursday. Okay, Thursday is a big day, guys. So I need you guys to lock in. So I would imagine that investors are going to want Apple to be cheaper heading into its event. But if it's not, if we don't get a sell off, I will be very careful. Daily time frame, Apple is very overextended. Well, pretty overextended. I wouldn't say very overextended. So this is something you want to pay attention to. This is something you want to lock in on heading into the Apple event. All right. If we get a sell off towards that 230 target, I simply think it's a buying opportunity. Not buying shares, but trade the dip opportunity. All right. So that's what we're looking at for Apple. Semiconductors. Someone in the Discord asked me to go over semiconductor ETF, so that's what we're going to do. So SMH. So SMH, you have a reversal pattern here right above the 21. Hey, all right. So want to be careful here. This is a potential hangman. All right. So you want to be careful. All right. And again, it's not like this one where it's forming off a downtrend. This is formed off an uptrend. So you can easily see a reversal here. All right. Nvidia doesn't necessarily have any good news coming for it right now. Okay. Besides the Goldman Sachs conference that's coming up. But ultimately, when I say, not good news, I'm talking about AVGO, right? We all know what happened with AVGO. And right now, it looks like Nvidia could see a move towards 250. All right, if SMH, if this not head and shoulders hangman pattern ends up playing out, so you want to be careful here. If Nvidia, all right, let's just go straight to Nvidia. Just get straight to Nvidia. All right, guys, if Nvidia blesses you, and I mean blesses you with an opportunity at around 160, I mean not 160, 150, right here at the 100 EMA, yeah, you might want to consider buying it. You just might. Okay, you just might. All right. I'm going to look to buy shares here, looking at about a good 20% discount here. Personally, another target that I am looking at is at around 145 on Nvidia, between 145 and 150. But I definitely think Nvidia is blessing us with an opportunity of a lifetime. Remember, Nvidia was upgraded or had an upgraded target all the way to the 230s. I'm just saying. So unless that changes, I think even if it does change, it doesn't matter. Nvidia is Nvidia at the end of the day. But 150, between 150, 145, 157, you might want to check this out. Yeah, might want to check this out. I'm definitely going to alert Discord members when I'm ready to invest into Nvidia all over again. But yeah, Nvidia looking good. Okay, it's looking good if we could see some more downside. I would love for that to happen. It's also important to note you got some gaps left open to the upside. So something to keep in mind here. Okay. So I do imagine that heading into this Goldman Sachs event or conference, whatever, could be a buy to dip opportunity. This could be. All right. SOXX. So you're going to see this reversal pattern across the board, basically. You're going to see these hangman, hammer patterns, whatever you want to call them, all across the board. And again, this one is forming somewhat off a uptrend. Now it is above the 21 AMA, but it's very much possible that we see a little bit of downside when it comes to a little more downside when it comes to semiconductors. Okay, so you want to be careful here. Okay, you want to be careful heading into tomorrow. Again, I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I'm not saying we're going to crash. I'm not saying we're correcting. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think the market is going to continue to play games until we get closer to rate cuts. All right. That's what I think is going to happen. And then whatever happens from there, happens from there. We know September is notoriously a bearish month. I don't think I need to tell you guys this. You guys probably hear it from every other YouTuber out there, social media, whatever the case may be. So I'm sure this is not news to you when it comes to September. But what I will say is that want to be careful on rate cut day. Okay, it could be easily a sell the news type of deal. And if we get 50 points, then it might be a bad thing. It might be a bad thing. We'll see. All right. But other than that, SOXX, you got a reversal pattern. SMH, you got a reversal pattern. Nvidia, you still looking bearish. It's still below some key levels here. SOXL, right? I mean, pretty much the same thing, guys. There's not much to talk about here, but yeah, same thing. All right, so that's pretty much the video. We can go over Bitcoin real quick, guys. Um, when it comes to Bitcoin, it's just it just keeps it just keeps playing games here. Now we can argue that there is a inverse head and shoulders pattern here, head here, another shoulder here. What I want to see with Bitcoin is a break above. At this point, I just want to see a break above 115K. 112K was my level, but it just keeps playing games around there, and that's what Bitcoin does. It just plays games and constantly stops hunts all over levels. Okay, so what we're looking at is 115K. If Bitcoin can get above 115K, I think 120K is on the table, and then from there, I think the whole heading to 104K is pretty much invalidated. Right? I'm not ignoring the fact that I said Bitcoin can head to 104K. Hey, sometimes I'm wrong. Still too early to determine if I'm wrong or not. But for now, Bitcoin is just trading in a range. I still think Bitcoin is going to see 200K. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, next week, or anything like that. That would be insane. That would be beautiful, but that would be insane. What I'm saying is that probably by the end of the year, beginning of next year, we're probably going to see Bitcoin between 150 and 200K. All right, just to make clear. Obviously, there's going to be dips along the way. I don't think I need to say that, but for some reason, I have to say that because someone was like, "I thought you were bullish on Bitcoin." It's just like I don't expect 150K to happen in a week. Come on now. All right, so let's use our heads here. All right, but other than that, Discord link will be in the description below, guys, killing it as usual. Um, Shout out to Discord members; they've been absolutely crushing it. This trade right here, shout out to Philly for giving me this trade right here. I do take members trades, right? If I agree with a members trade, I'm going to take it because I trust my members, right? I trust my members and their plays, right? So we're gonna take risk, okay? But he shouted out this Tesla call and made an absolute bag on this play. So shout out to him. So if a member shouts out a play and I agree with it, I'm going to jump on board. I think it helps build confidence. I think it encourages members to be um, more open to trading or alerting trades and things like that, and just trusting their own beliefs, trusting their own ideas. So that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, is building confidence, helping each other build confidence. Because I think that's the biggest problem with traders is just having confidence, right? Just having confidence, and even if you're wrong, just accepting. Hey, you're going to be wrong sometimes. Hey, you're going to take losses sometimes. I take losses plenty of times, right? It happens. There's no trader out there or no retail trader out there that's just 100% right all the time. It's just impossible. Okay, so yeah, Discord link will be in the description below, guys. Let me know what you guys think for the market or what's going to happen with the market this upcoming week. Sorry, again, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm talking like I'm not making sense when I talk. I'm rambling, but other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. The next video, traders, have a good one.